Hey crafters, Lisa here from Fun Stuff Crafts. So glad you could join me for another Inspiration Friday. So this week I'm really excited to share with you a painting kit that I picked up at a local bazaar, and the end project is right behind us, and I'm going to show you how I took a kit that I picked up and I added glass and resin to it just to take it up another level. So I really hope you enjoy this tutorial. And hey, if this is your first time stopping by my channel, thanks so much for stopping by. Make sure you click on the subscribe button down below, and don't forget to click on that bell, and YouTube should alert you each time I upload a new video. I try to do it every Friday. That's why we call it Inspiration Friday. So give me a second. I'm going to get my camera angle changed. I'm going to meet you over at my bench, and we are going to start working on this cute birds on a wire. Okay, crafters, so I had fun this weekend. My husband and I went out and about, and we wandered across a bazaar, and I had a great opportunity to visit a booth that was for brush designs. And what she does is she puts together tutorial kits for painting. And so I bought one of her kits, and I'll tell you, it has everything in it. It came with a canvas, it came with the paint, the brushes, a mixing palette, even a paper towel. And then she also included a tutorial on how to paint, and this one is called Birds on a Wire. So I followed her tutorial, and this is what I painted this weekend. And I just absolutely loved it. When I saw it originally, the first thing I thought about is I wanted to put glass on it. So if you guys would like to do something like this, I am going to put a link to Brush Design's website, and you guys can pick up one of her kits. What I want to show you is taking it just a step further and adding a little bit of glass. Now, she had all yellow birds, but you guys, if you followed my channel, you know I love teal. So I decided that I wanted to add a teal bird in there also. I had yellow glass on hand, so that's what we're going to add. We're going to add some yellow glass. I did not have any teal, and so what I did is I grabbed some paint and I painted some clear glass so that I could have some teal, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some glass, we're gonna put some resin on it, and just change this up a little bit. So whenever I'm working with resin, I always tape the back of my board first. So that's exactly what I've done. I've got it on just some block risers, so that way when my epoxy is drying or my resin is drying, it can just drop all off, okay? We are going to be using art resin. It's my absolute favorite resin. And I've got some mixing cups right here off to the side. I am gonna put my gloves on right away. Actually, I guess I could have placed the glass first, but we'll go ahead and put the gloves on anyway, since I already started. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add glass to each one of these cute little birds. I just fell in love with them. I thought they were so cute. So I'm just gonna play with adding glass on my birds. I'm just gonna put a little bit on each, and then we'll kind of space it out a little bit. The video, when she's talking about how to paint the birds, she really goes into detail on getting that shading in. So I kind of wanted to keep a little bit of the white showing, because that's really where you kind of show the shading of the bird. And so if I just play with it, in fact, I'm going to grab my little palette here, my little makeup knife that I usually use when I'm pouring resin, just to be able to move my glass around a little bit. Oh, I just think this is going to look so cute with all of that resin added to it. And it was just so fun to sit down, went through a step-by-step tutorial on how to do this. Her kits are great. Like I say, it has everything. So if you guys are just kind of like wanting to start out, try to see if you like, you know, want to get into painting. She even gave you 2 paintbrushes in the kits. So, I mean, you're ready to go. Other than me having to grab a pencil so I could draw my birds on, I was ready to go with everything that she put together in the kit. So, and I know based on the website that I took a peek at that you guys could definitely order them online. I was lucky enough to see it in person, which, I don't know, you guys, I just get inspired when I see stuff like this. And I was going to pick a different design. There was a really cute rooster. But when I saw these birds, I instantly just saw glass. So I just knew that I was going to wanted to do that. I'm going to add in my blue here, or my teal that I created. And remember again, you guys, I didn't have any teal glass on hand. So I just took some spray paint to the glass. And some of my glass is still a tad bit wet. Sticking right to my little palette brush. Okay. I think we are good to go. As easy as that, you guys. Taking that picture and just adding a little bit of glass to it. I just think it's really going to be cute. I think I'm going to add some little rain type drops when I'm all done. But for now, we are just going to go straight on to our resin. Okay, now I am going to be using a little bit more resin because this is a bigger project than the pumpkin that we did earlier. And so I do have these bigger cups along with my normal little measuring cups. So I'm going to do I'm actually going to do 2 tablespoons in all. So I'm going to do a tablespoon of resin. Okay. And so let me get right to that. I'm going to do a tablespoon of resin. And there are calculators on the Art Resin website that you can use so you know exactly how much resin to use. I'm eyeballing it here, you guys. But, you know, resin is not cheap, that's for sure. And so if you guys want to use the calculator, you sure can. We'll see how much resin Lisa has left when we get done with this. Okay? Now, as a reminder, whenever we're dealing with resin, we always have to mix it, and we're going to mix it for 3 minutes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my first part into my cup, okay? And I've said this before, some people like to mix all in one cup. I just know the importance of making sure that you've got equal amounts. And I feel that I'm not quite getting equal amounts if I were to mix it all in one cup. Some people get it down pat, and if you're one of those lucky people, that's great. This is my best practice that I like to share with everybody, is to just make sure that you want to get it all mixed up, okay? And I've got a lot on the side, so I'm just gonna mix that. Now we are gonna go for 3 minutes. And so I'm not going to make you guys watch me stir this whole time, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir for 3 minutes. See how it's a little cloudy right now? When my 3 minutes are up, it's going to be a lot less cloudy, and we're going to get going on this. So I'll be right back. Okay, you guys, my resin, epoxy, whatever you want to call it, my resin is all set up. So the very first thing we're going to do is we are going to put some over our glass. Okay, so I'm just going in here. And whenever you're dealing with resin, you always want to do it on a level surface. Now I'm working on my countertop and I know it's level, okay? So resin is self-leveling, and so as it spreads out through the glass, it will level out. So that's why you always want to make sure that you're on a level surface, okay? And I always like to make sure my glass is set first, so I'm just drizzling over it, okay? Want your glass to stay secure, okay? And then what we'll do is we will pour the rest of the resin that I have got in the cup, and we're just going to drizzle it along the top, okay, and then we're going to go across the bottom. And then I'm going to take my little makeup applicator and we will spread the rest out, okay. Then I'm going to go grab some of those little raindrops we were talking about, and I'm going to add those. Sometimes I add those before I resin, and other times I just like to drop them on top. So that's what we're going to do this time. Grab a different applicator there. Okay. Just going to bring all of my resin off of my popsicle stick. Okay. And then we're just going to move it around on my canvas. Now, one thing you can do, you guys, is you can use your fingers, okay? And I do like to do that because sometimes I feel like I can feel it better. Okay. And you can already see some of the resin coming from where the glass was, because I definitely got a good coat in there, okay? And you just take your time and you're going to spread out your resin, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit it with just a little bit of heat, okay? Sometimes my glass likes to move, okay? So I'm actually going to use my fingers, you guys, because I think sometimes I can get the resin moved around a little bit better on my canvas, but it's your guys' preference. Again, this is why we always wear gloves. Now, some people do wear masks when they're dealing with resin. I haven't had this art resin bother me at all, so I have not ever wore a mask when I'm doing resin, but it definitely is a good idea if there's any chance you might get, bothered by the fumes. I don't think this resin smells, but again, everybody's smelling is a little bit different, right? Okay, so I'm just getting that all moved around. Whoops, came off my little risers. Don't want to do that because that's part of everything being level too. Oops. Get down towards my middle, and then once I do it with the heat, don't really want your resin to move with the heat. You want it to pop the bubbles, but it does help a little bit with the movement. Okay, I just like to make sure I got an even coat. Little guys are just moving all over the place today for some reason. I want them in the corners, and they're not in the corners is what my problem is. So I'm just going to move those around a little bit. There we go. Now they're being better. Bring that resin down. Whoops. Picked up a little bit of my glass. Just being really careful with my fingers. Okay. Working it all in there. You guys, we could even put little dots on for these little birdies' eyes if you wanted to. You can add all different things. Get in there with my make sure that I've got it all filled in there. And just take your time, you guys. Sometimes it helps me if I get down at eye level too, so I can see if there's any areas that I'm missing. Just about ready to hit it with a little bit of heat. I think I've got most of my areas covered. And again, since it's on a level surface, as it sets, it will level out for me. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to take my gloves off and I'm going to hit it with heat. Okay? So I've just been using my embossing gun, heat gun, and I'm just going to lightly go over it. Just trying to pop any of those bubbles that I'm seeing in the resin. Okay, you guys, that's it. I'm gonna let this sit. I'm gonna come back probably in about 10 minutes. I'll double check my sides to make sure nothing's dripping off any of my sides. And then we'll check back on this tomorrow. See what it looks like. I just love it with the glass. Can't wait to show it to you guys. Before I go though, you guys, I forgot to add some of my little raindrops. So I've got, put my gloves back on, and I've got these, and I'm just going to drop them on the resin, just in different spots. Okay, so these are just little glass beads. Picked those up in the floral department at Michael's. And I just think kind of hard for you guys to see that I'm getting these added, but it's just, it kind of reminds me of dew, a little bit of maybe some, and I just think they're kind of fun. They just add a little bit, and I'm not necessarily, you know, caring that there's any rhyme or reason to this. I think I'll put some down at the bottom too. Just wherever. And since I've got that resin in there, they're just going to adhere really well on the resin. Got one turned upside down though. Thought that one was going the wrong way. And I think that's about does it for my little dots. Okay, so I'm going to check back on this in about 10 minutes just to double check the sides. But other than that, we are good to go.